Were you able to send the attachment over?
Yes, I sent, there's a link, and then there should be an attachment.
I don't think I have it in my inbox just yet, and that was to AMOHLER.
Let me double check and make sure.
Erica's out there.
Oh, if you want to go grab it.
AMOHLER
Yes.
at englewoodco.gov.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. It looks like I haven't received it just yet.
I'm not hooked up to the internet here, so I don't know if it might take a minute to come through.
Okay.
I do have copies also.
Oh, copies are great. Just
Oh yeah, that's
do that.
perfectly fine. If you want to just after the meeting.
Yeah, they're all smart.
Yes, yes, I'll send them to you.
It's like hot.
I know it's really
Yeah.
hot right here. I can feel it.
Perfect.
She'll let us turn the fan on, pull the cold air from his office.
So maybe it's an ace also.
Yeah, and then I just draft at the top.
Oh, it just came through. So it
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Ready? Is it recording?
Yes, we have started the recording, so we're good to go.
Okay. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:46 p.m.
For roll call, we have Chair Martin Gilmore.
Here?
We have Vice Chair Kyle Conrad. Here. Angelica DiOrio is going to be absent. Carolina Johnson. Here. Erica Crystal. Here. Stacy Potash is absent. So is Jennifer Bartlett. We have City Council Liaison Chelsea Noonenkamp. Present. We have Luisa Alvarez. Here. All right. From the Communications Department, we have Communications Director Chris Harguth.
Present.
Marketing Manager Vanessa Davis is absent. Web and Digital Content Strategist Lucia Magnuson is also absent. And I am here as well, Andrea Mohler, Visual Communications Specialist.
Cool. Oops. Great. We'll go on to the approval of the minutes from last meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
We can motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. On to the recognition of public comment. Second Saturday's request from Hayley Schneider.
Hi everyone, my name is Hayley Schneider. I'm with Seesaw Art Gallery here in Englewood, and I'm with Nicole Corby, who has End Collective and Easel Art Space here in Englewood also. And we have been spearheading an effort with the creative community, art galleries, arts organizations, and other creative entities to promote our businesses here in Englewood. And we've come up with the concept of Second Saturdays. When I was here last meeting, we had the logo, which you'll see on the upper left-hand side. And we've been working together to really utilize that Second Saturday as a time to promote different happenings that we have within our businesses to encourage not only our residents, but other visitors from the metro area to come and spend time in our community. And last month when I was here, we had talked, I had said we were in the process of building out a map, and this is a draft copy. And actually I'll send, I have like 4 copies here to send around. But you'll see that we're working on an interactive map that has some of the businesses that are part of us listed. And eventually it'll be clickable where you can click on something and see what events exactly are happening, because those change month to month. But I'm here today actually on a formal ask to the committee for a funding proposal for us to continue to develop and build out this concept. I mean, I think since the last time, well, since last month when I was here, we've had 3 or 4 new businesses who are very interested, and it seems like every month, anyone who finds out about what we're doing, our community is growing. And so there's a formal proposal, which was the link, that kind of explains in better detail, because I'm not a great public speaker, I'm a better writer, and you'll find that information here in the proposal. And then the actual formal asks, so line items that we're looking for funding to help promote and continue to increase our ability to, to push second Saturdays. And one of the things that's also in here is, we'd really like to partner with the CAC, with other entities like the chamber. We're, really using a multi-pronged approach to hopefully have, a partnership where we can, there's branding opportunities, there's, opportunities for us to support you and vice versa, through a continued partnership. And there's some, it's detailed out in here, but I'll pass these around too. And then if anyone has any questions or needs more specifics, please let me know.
Haley, can you go through what you're asking us for funding wise? Like,
Yes.
what would the funding support and what do you need?
Oh, I have 2 copies of this. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good.
So really it's our kind of our administrative costs to get up and running. So in order for us to do this, we're developing a press release that we want to get out to the greater community. There's been press coverage from, I think, Denver Wright about Mutiny Cafe moving down and other businesses, moving farther down Broadway because Englewood is a great place to be. And so we have this press release drafted. It has not been sent out yet, but there's a copy coming around. So it's the cost for the person who wrote that and then for the publicity that goes along with that. Our logo development and design that you saw that was the second Saturday, the green circle. We'd like to be able to print flyers for all the participating businesses that would have a QR code that would, somebody could scan and link to and see exactly what's happening on that particular second Saturday, and distribute to all of the businesses who are, participating. And then we're also, like that, you just saw the draft of the map that we're creating, but in order to make that interactive, change it out every single month, make the, linking to the correct things, so really the upkeep and administration of that. And then as well as our landing page, which is going to be hosted at on Nicole's website at Easel, and the administrative cost of just continuing to push that out throughout the year so that people have like one place where they can go to get the information about all the businesses participating in Second Saturday. So those are the line items.
Thank you. Are the businesses who are participating contributing to this as well financially?
Financially, some yes and some no. So we're, there's, in the beginning of the proposal, you'll see a list of about 15 different businesses. It's not all of them. There's still more that are coming. But there's, not all of them are participating financially, no. Some more so than others. And so the purpose of this really would be to pay back the people who are putting in that time, and then to keep it running forward.
In the proposal, you're referring to the group as the Englewood Creative Community. Is the intent to kind of organize in a more formal way for this event and for others?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. So we're really kind of just getting off the ground and working, to promote this and get together. Our hope is right now that we're going to be able to explore the possibility of an actual arts district that's recognized by the state. So I know Martin has been through this process a few times, I believe.
Or exploring it.
To have discussions about it.
Yeah, and now it feels like is a really good time because there's so many of us who are coming in. We know of others who are very interested in the area, and there seems to be a lot of momentum around creative businesses in Englewood. And so that's not listed on the proposal, and it's not part of Second Saturday per se, but those of us that are very invested in this are looking at exploring that possibility.
Thank you. Just to that point, I would say that on the second page, the groups that you're partnering with, which is fantastic, CAC being one of them, but would also highlight the Downtown Development Authority.
Yes.
And the city's own economic development office as well, who has been in conversations around the arts district piece. So if you want to talk to Darren here at the city, he's very familiar with that effort in the past, and so can give you some good context as well.
Amazing, thank you. And I know you've been in contact with Hillary.
I have from the DDA, yes.
Yes, so we're, been lucky enough to have some support here from the CAC, so you guys have kind of been my first space to come to, but we are also looking at like Tony with Parks and Rec and making sure that we're, you know, hitting all the right contacts.
I would mention Darren just announced his retirement.
Oh.
Yes, he is retiring on May 2nd.
Okay.
We're gonna miss him. We're gonna miss him terribly.
Oh,
wow. A teenager.
40 years, I think, with the city.
Yeah, a long time. So you have about a month
okay.
to pick his brain.
Got it.
I
Great.
really
I will be on
encourage
that.
you to do
I
so.
was waiting for somebody. I haven't heard that yet.
Debbie, are you retiring anytime?
Not as quickly as Dan. That it came on as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad you're not retiring. Okay, cool. I think that, I was thinking of that too, and I think maybe you had tried to email Darren, is that true?
Yes, I've met with Tony and she was very open to partnering. I need to circle back to her because I met with her a couple months ago before we were in the state that we're in right now, and more formally organized. And then I also have reached out to Darren, but I understand he's probably very busy.
What is your deadline for this funding?
The funding, this is actually just funding a portion of it, and it's ongoing. So we don't have like a particular deadline in place. It's more that we're looking for, you know, help with those administrative costs.
Sure. Any other thoughts?
I would just add that we'd be very interested in helping to promote this in the Englewood magazine.
Oh, awesome. That'd be
So,
amazing.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, your name again?
I'm Chris Harguth. I'm the Director of Communications.
Okay.
So you're welcome to reach out to me directly.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
And I'll say, I think as somebody who's been on the Cultural Arts Commission, I really feel like this is something we've been wanting to see in Englewood, of a growing art district that supports, maybe not an art district is the right term right now, but supporting that growing art community. And I really feel like we have hit a nerve and I can see it spreading. And so for me, this is really exciting, the possibilities and opportunities it presents to our community. And so I'm excited to partner, and I would be excited to support this path forward for us.
Thank you. And I will say, we haven't mentioned, we haven't even had a chance to really outreach to the restaurants in the area that are vital to, you know, or like this organization. And so there's, you know, it's really a multi-pronged approach when it comes to all the small businesses here that offer creative things, like Mutiny Cafe is having a music event on a second Saturday. So, and I know Western Sky Bar and Tap Room, they do markets on second Saturday. So there's already, you know, like a lot of momentum behind what we're doing. And now it's just a matter of all of us getting on the same page.
And I've been thinking how, like, even for the chambers, the last couple years, we've supported their murals and mason jars event. And maybe pushing for a partnership there, pushing for that event to fall on the same day. Like, I think it could grow into other, like, things could center around it, you know, potentially.
Yeah, and hopefully as we get the word out, and, you know, it's something that I know a lot of, especially with city and government, you know, things are planned out way far in advance, but even into the next year, you know, to really solidify and make this a reason for people to come out on a second Saturday.
Are you hoping to do it throughout the entire year?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, it is every second Saturday of the month.
Not just like a spring-summer thing?
No, and it'll be every month the events change. So, you know, maybe I have open hours one month, and like this past month in March, I had an art opening. So, you know, the events change, but there is always consistency that there are things happening.
That's great. I'm excited to see this going on.
It's like, what, does anybody have questions around the funding, or I guess how does our committee feel about funding?
Can we look at a budget maybe at some
I
point?
was trying to find
Because
it.
that would be helpful to kind of see like where we're at and how we can potentially help with funding.
the 2025 budget, I promise.
I was looking forward to it.
Let me get it pulled up really quick.
That map is really nice. That's cool to have, yeah.
Yeah, Michelle is one of the artists at N Collective, and she also has her studio at Easel where N Collective is housed. And she's a graphic designer, and so she's actually giving her services at a very, 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 very discounted rate for us. So,
That's generous. Love to see it. It is.
Is it on the second tab?
I didn't see a second tab on the budget that we had there. Yeah, there was just the one sheet.
oh, the budget is missing.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
I think also it's Martin, I thought you emailed the budget to Debbie.
Yes, I did. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. This way. All right. I clicked Gmail chat accidentally. That doesn't work. Sorry.
I think I.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
got it, 'cause I do have-
Somewhere in the archive.
Everybody found it at the same time.
Of course. That's always how it goes. Well, now everyone has it, so.
The total remaining at the end of this year, as stands now, is 72,000, except for we have 30,000 that we have set aside for the second floor murals.
Great. Okay. Had we set aside red line stuff that we never spent, or did we?
It was, I think from the previous, the red line.
So I was wondering if we could allocate what we had allocated toward that, toward this, just because I feel like it's more immediate and
Yeah,
I mean, personally, that's how I feel.
I agree with you. I think they align with the idea of what we were trying to do with red line.
Very similar.
And I think this year we left it, we didn't put a mark for it in 2025. We just have it as a line item, gallery support meet and greet.
But we hadn't put money toward it specifically.
No, because we left it more open this year because we weren't sure what the ask was going to be.
Right, okay.
Any new plans?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
amazing,
Hey.
thank you. That's so helpful. The sun is also somehow
Yeah.
reflecting, so it's so bright.
Where's the amount that we had
Yeah.
aside from red line?
I don't think there's an amount there. That's what we were saying. There's a
Oh, I
line
see.
item, but we didn't
Oh,
put
we
any
didn't put
money
an
there.
amount.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
23,426 is what we
Yeah,
actually have.
That's what we have.
Okay. For the rest of the year.
I mean, I feel comfortable where we're at, that we have the funds to allocate for something like this. And I also think we could, on some of these nights, maybe host our meet and greets. We talked about doing artist receptions. This could be another good night to host those events. So I also think, we can look at other ways to support it as well as the funding tonight.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
And I don't know, we'd love to put the CAC's logo, or the city, however that works, on our landing page, so showing that you guys are supporting us and making it clear that there's a partnership.
I think that's great.
What was the official amount?
3,000?
3,000.
Does everyone feel comfortable funding the whole amount, or do we want to look at a different amount?
I feel comfortable with the whole amount. but I feel like we're in good shape this year with our funding.
I think so. This is something that we've been talking, I've like wanted to see happen, and especially like motivating towards an arts district. In the past, we haven't really had like a concentration of galleries in a way that would make a district, I think, was the way that, when I discussed it with Darren in the past a couple times, that was sort of the concern, is there wasn't like a focused area where there would be a district within Englewood, and that seems to be changing along that Broadway corridor. I think that's really cool. That's something that we've been talking about doing the CSC for a long time. So if that's kind of the goal of this, I'm totally cool with it.
And knowing that this isn't actually the full amount, that you used restraint.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
There's a lot of restraint.
Yeah. I moved to fund the full $3,000 for this.
I second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Wow, thank you.
I would add one thing, that this now gives our department more flexibility to help promote this event.
Amazing.
So, yeah, now that the city would be an official sponsor.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you.
Looking forward to the discussions, yeah.
And
How
Chris, I was
exciting.
even looking at the CAC landing page, which by the way, I'm so excited with all the things on there, like it's really grown, but I was thinking about the new map we have, maybe the maps, you know,
Absolutely.
could overlap. It would be kind of cool to celebrate all our art and celebrate where you can find new art.
And I know this isn't part of this committee, but one of the things we want to explore also is the trolley, and having that, I need to find the right person with the city to contact and talk about that, but if they would maybe consider doing it on a second Saturday, since we aren't like a super walkable district like you get the art district on Santa Fe, but if we had the trolley running during, 2 to 8 p.m. or something like that on a second Saturday, we could, really cover the majority of where we all are.
And I think something I've been hearing a lot about is, those South Englewood folks oftentimes feel left out and don't always feel included in all the magic of downtown Englewood. And this might be an opportunity where we can really have that cultural up and down at Broadway, where people could hop on, go to galleries, go to other things that are happening downtown, and really think with that redevelopment piece of getting people to our businesses on both sides of town, as well as like getting our community to feel the love on both sides of town.
Yeah, and as a South Side resident, I would love the opportunity to go around to the galleries and have that provided by the city. And it's also exposure for the trolley too. So it's almost connecting, like, she just said, it's just merging all of those parts together, and it could be exciting.
But a little different than the bus. I think if it had the focus of knowing it was doing gallery stops and business stops and really serving just that short stretch is different than like hopping on the bus that has longer,
Intentional stops where places are.
I may have missed it, but when would this officially kick off?
It already has.
Okay.
Yep, so I think our first official one was last month, March. So we're already in process.
Yeah, we're just adding more businesses as we go, as people get wind of it and we talk to more places, they're jumping on board.
And I think there's still rumors of other groups looking from Rhino and Santa Fe, right?
Yes.
But they're still looking at Englewood.
Yep,
As a
there's
potential.
a lot of momentum in the arts community, the greater arts community. Obviously, as everyone here knows, like it's very expensive in Rhino and our district on Santa Fe, and they have their own unique challenges, parking being one of those. And there's a lot of interest in kind of this migration down South Broadway.
Nice.
And later in the meeting, I'm going to give an update on the art in Englewood in the Englewood magazine, and we could possibly do some sort of call-out box in our next magazine. So,
Great.
Yep.
Great.
Exciting.
Thanks. Any more on that? No other public comment? All right, new business. Celebrate Englewood booth.
Yeah, so I'm kind of presenting on behalf of Lucia. We wanted to see if the Cultural Arts Commission was interested in participating in Celebrate Englewood. So a little bit about the event. It is a city event where the public are invited to meet city employees, learn more about departments and the responsibilities of each department. It is Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the Englewood Civic Center. So for this event, we would need 2 CAC members to man the booth. And the goals that we would have for the booth would be to educate the public on the Cultural Arts Commission, hand out information, encourage signups for updates from CAC. And we also thought for a fun activity to maybe produce something like a little button making station. We noticed at Neighborhood Nights this past summer that some of the more hands-on activities from booths had really, really good engagement. They had people just really interested to learn more. They definitely hung around the booth a lot more at the event. One example was the t-shirt making station from South Platte Reno. So we thought it would be fun to maybe do a little button making station with maybe some pre-designed buttons for people that want to grab and go, or maybe some ones people could color in themselves and kind of stamp on their own. It was just kind of an idea to maybe get some more exposure for the Cultural Arts Commission and really get people understanding a little bit more about what we're doing here.
Yeah, I can be there.
What day is it again? May
likewise.
what?
17th.
And
it'd be from
it's
10
very well attended.
I think we did it last year, or
Oh, you
was
did?
it last year or the year before?
But I hope there's going to be puppies. I will keep the pulse on puppies.
I need to know.
And where is it?
It's here at the Civic Center.
I know. It's the Touch a Truck Mart. We did it
A council
2 years ago.
Oh,
Just
okay.
they were there too for us.
Well, I'm gonna bring.
Oh, okay.
Oh, excellent. That's all I need.
I'll bring my guitar.
Yeah. I would love the buttons. That's
Yeah, that sounds
awesome.
really fun.
Because last time I think we didn't have an activity, and definitely an activity would make our booth more exciting.
Because it was slow at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can also, I mean, we can have some ones that are pre-designed and we can discuss maybe designs or have a couple drafted up, ready to go. But we can have some that are ready to grab and go, and then some maybe like, you know, kids could color in,
Yeah.
some thoughts maybe like, you know, things like I love art or Cultural Arts Commission, or one idea I had was maybe like creating a little very simple graphic of like popular art here in Englewood, where people could color that in however they want and have it on them forever and have a little reminder memento of CAC as they go about their day.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Like using maybe our logo and then having some other icons of the city.
We have a table cover somewhere, right?
Yeah, Tony has a table cover for us.
Okay.
On my back door.
Okay.
Perfect.
I defer to the commission, but I think even some of the things that you guys are sponsoring, if you wanted to have those out on your table to raise awareness, like, did you know that there's a bunch of new art in Englewood and we're sponsoring this thing? Like, there could be some stuff if you guys wanted to think through your community partners that to talk about the art scene in Englewood could be kind of cool.
Yeah, print materials.
The wraps.
Y'all are printing stuff, right? That was part of what we were funding. Is there any way that we could maybe get some, or we could print our own or something?
Get some
'Cause that was
maps.
perfect.
We could
Yeah.
actually hand out the maps during the
Yeah.
event.
That could be cool.
And Debbie, didn't we have some made for the wrap celebrations? We had those table tops made of,
Like a QR.
no,
Had
they
the
were of
artist
the
file?
wraps so people could see their wraps. Remember when we had the reception of the wraps? I thought you had some on the tables.
Pictures of the art, right?
Yeah, you had
I
pictures
remember
of the
We
art.
had them in the plastic.
that. Vehicle
Yeah.
exterior.
It might be fun to bring those.
I'll follow up with Tony. I
Okay.
think she maybe had taken those, but
It would be nice if we split up the time. It
Mhm.
can be a long
Yeah.
event, so if other members wanted to come, like I could do an hour, 2 hours, and then if other folks wanted to commit, might be nice if we rotated in and out.
I can be there.
I can do the whole time.
I can be available as well.
Okay, so
we
maybe
can
we'll
rotate
do
that.
an email and coordinate times, but yeah, that would be really nice.
Yeah, we could also, I could talk to Lucy about sending out like maybe like a Google form or something like that.
Yeah.
where people are like
Sign
sign
up.
up times, yeah,
And
something
then
like
we'll just
that.
do it in like hour slots or 2 hour slots, just,
Yeah.
I can't remember how long the event is, but.
It's about 4 hours from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's a good chunk of the day.
So like it would be good to have 2 people and maybe do like an hour to 2 hour slots, depending on how many people can do it.
Perfect. And that's also kind of nice to make sure the whole commission can maybe
Yeah.
get a little bit of exposure and get to see a little more of that. So yeah, it's a fun event from what I've heard. The button station, so as of now, the quote is it's $40 for the button making station for an 100 quantity of buttons. And it looks like the additional pricing for an extra 200 buttons would be $34 extra. So
Yeah, something we could keep and use it.
Yeah.
And if we did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, this is something that we could definitely.
So the total would be like $74.
And this would actually be, Martin, a cool immersive event if we had an artist make the image for the block party. We could have this for the, block.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will make a motion to spend $75 on the button making station.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it passes. Cool. On to the artist meet and greet. Kyle.
So because I've known about second Saturdays, I just wanted to kind of maybe bring to the committee again. At one point, we had artist meet and greets where we would invite artists to come meet with us, or we might partner with somebody to do like an educational talk of some sort for artists in the community. And I just think with second Saturdays happening, it might be nice for us to do something in one of these galleries, or partnering with maybe the Student Art League of Denver with their new satellite branch, or Redline, to offer that again. And so I just wanted to kind of explore that and see what people might be interested in, and then kind of look at a timeline of, I think at this point I'm looking towards summer, but I thought maybe we aim towards having some sort of meet and greet in July to celebrate second Saturdays, but also invite artists to come see what's happening in the community. So I just kind of wanted to figure out a way for us to continue to be involved, and also think through some of the things we've done, and maybe revitalize those and bring them back.
I think an opportunity for the meet and greet would be like on the second Saturday to kind of rotate through the galleries, and like one Saturday we're here, one Saturday we're there. And somehow have name tags or some station that just says CAC and the Cultural Arts Commission will be in this place at this time, which I think we could set up a table if we wanted, or we don't have name tags, we could probably figure that out.
We can make buttons with your names.
We can make buttons. And I don't know what kind of financial commitment we would need to have for that, other than telling people that we're going to be there. And then mostly what we would need is just people who could be there, and just plan on a couple of people being able to be there in May, a couple of people in June.
I was thinking aiming towards summer, just to give ourselves a moment, and maybe have a subcommittee kind of plan out like where we would be if we wanted to have like snacky foods. I know we provided food in the past, not that we have to, but that could be an incentive if we're out one place.
Yeah. Is that for second Saturdays? Do the galleries usually have snacks and food and stuff put out?
We have been.
Yes.
So you wouldn't really have to bring
Okay.
extra food. We could provide that, and then we could add to, obviously, the second Saturday webpage that you guys would be at whichever location.
That's kind of how we used to do it, is just meet in different places, have a place for artists to get together. And I'm all for this. Do you see, like, is there a financial commitment, do you think?
I think only if we wanted to bring in an educational component, or if we wanted to do food, but we obviously don't have to, or we could split, share food costs. I don't know how, the big event I did was obviously the open house, but that was very big. This doesn't have to be that.
Yeah. If we were thinking ahead, like, let's say in June, which is, what's the date in June?
And just to clarify, since I was only speaking for my
Yeah,
location,
right.
The other locations might not provide as much food or have the
Right.
budget to do that.
So June 14th, like if we decided that was going to be the first one, that we could decide on the place and then send out invitations to all the CAC members of who could be there. I think the biggest thing is in order to be consistent, we need somebody each month to show up to it, that we need to not have a month where it doesn't always have to be the same people, but just that the CAC has a presence. So I can probably make it in June, it looks like.
You're not traveling?
Not until the next week. I'm totally gone for a month.
I could do June if you did, or July if you do June.
And it would be great to whoever can make it.
Yeah, whoever.
But that there is some anchor person.
Early June, we're looking to be out of town. It's not set in stone, but
Okay.
for sure.
And I'm available June or August, but definitely not September. July, so July or August might be
Say
better.
what?
I wonder if maybe choosing 1 month and making it more of like a thing might be better for us, just because I feel like we oftentimes can't be available all at the same time unless we're like, it's far enough in advance.
Right.
So I wonder if that might be better just right now, or like every other or something.
I sort of feel like if we should have some because when I did the meet and greets before, it was usually just me from the commission that would show up to do it, that there's some consistent thing. I don't mind, I think it'd be a good idea to do something bigger and have a bigger event, that would be cool, but just that if we're gonna use these second Saturdays as an opportunity to reach people, that we sort of have a gathering place and that becomes our meet and greet, and that consistency would be helpful.
And do we have artists that have already shown interest or anyone who's shown interest in sharing? their
Yeah,
education
so I
portion?
briefly started after our open house. I had artists that were showing up to kind of these more casual meet and greets. I do think, doing one to kick off, and then I think an educational component would be helpful. I think oftentimes that's like a service that we could maybe look at, but it doesn't have to be right away. I just think that's something I heard was a need. But I think just knowing we're in the community and people can reach us is
Cool. Kyle, is there a way that you could maybe just make a list of the galleries that are participating and just designate?
maybe I'll brainstorm with these kind folks and kind of chart it out and then see what folks are interested in signing up for and what
And
month.
then we can put it on the CAC site and in the stuff like the CAC meet and greet. We'll be here.
Does that sound good and doable to everyone?
I was imagining like all of us having to be there every time,
Which I think would be great. That would be a really great opportunity, but I don't think this has to be that.
Yeah,
We could choose one.
I think if we all chose one and if more people can show up and maybe we only choose to do 2 hours of the second Saturday, I don't think we have to do the whole time. That's a huge commitment, but an hour or 2 hours feels more achievable.
And just have an anchor person for each month and then everybody who can come.
Yeah.
Okay. Oops. I have the agenda on my phone. Is that all, Kyle?
Yeah, that's all I have, unless anybody else has ideas, but just thinking of ways we can support and be involved.
Cool. On to old business. Update on the wraps and entry points.
So I was more curious if we know where we are in the second stage of the wraps going up. I also was thinking of this just because I'm hoping for a reception for the wraps once we're done, or maybe the second. I know we have another round of wraps coming. So I just wanted to kind of keep that on our radar. And then I don't know where we landed on those entry points. I know we were trying to find out more info from CDOT. So I thought I would see how we can support or where that's all.
So the entry points, are you talking about the bridges?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those, we are submitting the permits this week.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's the process that might take some time.
Yeah, with CDOT, right?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
expecting that to take probably months. And then the wraps were, Harmonic Media is producing the 3 wraps. Those designs were approved by the committee, and those have all been approved. We did ask for one. Do you have those? I don't know if you can read. So we asked for one on one of the designs. The art was really small, and so we felt like it wouldn't have much impact. So we asked them on one side of it to blow that artwork up, and she'll show you here. Here we go. Yep.
Oh, the one for the school. Okay, this is bigger. There we go.
So cute.
So we have the first one with the dinosaurs in front of the school. And Mountain Majesty. And the same, the one that was changed was Saurus.
Okay.
Just because with the size of it, the design was getting a bit lost on the wrap.
Thank you for doing that too.
And it's such a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
design that we wanted people to really be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing it on the template.
Mm-hmm.
It's very helpful.
So imagine before, all you would see are those watercolors and then that small dinosaur
Yeah.
butterfly.
It
So we
originally
asked them to
was-
blow it up and wrap it.
I love it better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So do we know when they're actually getting put in or like the timeline for that?
I don't know if we know when they're actually being installed, but
Let me pull up the email from Steve to see if there was any additional.
Harmonic Media is producing these. They're local. I can't imagine it's going to be too long.
Yeah, I felt like we're close to
Yeah.
this group being wrapped up and that we would be starting the next group.
It doesn't look like there was a timeline within the email chain. But yeah, I can't imagine with these being the final proofs that it would be.
Yeah, it's not gonna be long.
No.
Okay.
Out of curiosity on the one that we expanded or blew up, is there any loss in like pixelation or the resolution?
I don't think, as long as we, I'm sure we have an EPS file, so I can't imagine that.
Just wondering if the printer had
Yeah,
said
I did-
anything or.
Yeah, they would tell us
Oh,
if
yeah.
they were concerned, yeah. That's a great question.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to kind of keep, and then also think about if we want to do a reception for those sometime this summer. But I know we're doing another call, so I'm also like, we might want to wait until the other call comes out and do them all together, or if we wanted to do them as two separate. We've
Yeah.
done, you know, we've done like the last group, we did the two rolled in together.
And I think for discussion, probably at a future meeting, is we did identify additional funding for ramps and crosswalks
Oh, cool.
that we didn't realize was there, so.
Yeah.
I think we would have the ability to do a crosswalk. Also, I think there's the issue of maintaining the crosswalks that we have. I noticed the crosswalk near the Deaton Bank where LTEP used to be, that it's pretty beat up.
Yeah.
It needs some love.
Yeah, the crosswalks.
But we could add that to
Yeah,
a
I'll put that on
a future agenda.
Okay,
So let's see if maybe next month we could add that.
good. Oh, I made it.
And between now and then, we could get, an estimate to refurbish that crosswalk.
Great.
Great. Thanks, Kyle. Upcoming events, from there, go on to staff's choice, resources and presentation on public meeting procedures. City Attorney's Office.
So I have a couple of resources for you guys. This first one going around is just a quick little one-page reference guide that we'll talk about in a little more detail. And then this, I have a copy for you as the head of the board if you're looking around. I have some slides I can pull up.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, I didn't get it far enough. Oh, great, thanks.
So much. Just to be nice.
Oh, great.
Oh, you want? And I'll offer it.
I think we'll.
Perfect. So I am Bea. Thanks for letting me chat with you guys today. I am our intern with the City Attorney's Office this semester. I'm a third-year law student over here at DU. And I'm going to talk to you guys about our public meeting procedures. These are used in all of our city board meetings from city council, all with the rest of our boards. And I'm just going to give you guys a quick rundown of what's going on here and some recent changes that were made. So these are the rules that Englewood uses in Bob's Rules of Order. Englewood adopted them in 2018. They're basically just the rules to run meetings like this. They were changed in 2023, and Englewood made some more changes in 2024. So I am just updating you guys on what's going on here and these recent changes that were made. And with the next slide, just some quick points about Bob's rules. The main point of these rules is for you guys to run these meetings efficiently. And so there's a lot of flexibility and discretion in how you guys can use these rules to make sure that it works for your meetings and what you guys need from them. Quick resources within them, each of you guys should have an individual copy. The one for you we've annotated with these changes, and we can get additional copies to you guys if you'd like. Good resources at the end in Appendix B is just a really quick list of all of the rules for like really quick reference during meetings and things, and if you want to just skim and familiarize yourself. And Appendix C is a table with all of the info about specific motions and points or specific nuances, like how much of the vote is needed for different things, whether you can debate different motions and things. So those are just good to be aware of. The main things you guys will use are motions, which you are already familiar with. For any formal action the body wants to take, you put a motion forward, second it, you guys can officially debate it, vote on it, and that will be a formal action from the body. Points are used for like quicker procedural issues or things that need to be dealt with immediately. So if you guys need more information on something really quickly, or if you think someone is violating a rule that you would like addressed really quickly, you can use the points. The next slide has a couple more things that are referenced on this one pager for you guys. It talks again about flexibility and a lot of discretion for you guys. Some quick points on motions and points. One that has been a little confusing for some of our boards is the motion to reconsider. So this you can use if you've already voted on something as a board, but you want to bring it back up. You're not happy with how the vote went, and you want to consider it again. So it doesn't, it essentially undoes the original vote on it, as if the original vote never happened, and you can consider the motion again, fresh. You can debate a motion to reconsider if it's brought up, but only about whether the matter should be brought back up at all, not debating the original vote itself. It can also only be brought by, it can also only be brought by a member that voted with the majority in the original vote. So if you lost the first vote and are trying to bring it back up, you won't be able to use it for that. And if successful, it basically makes it as if the original vote never happened, and you can consider the motion fresh. The next slide covers the rest of the reference guide. Executive sessions, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and some ethics points. The main point there is the difference between an appearance of impropriety and a conflict of interest, with a conflict of interest being a true conflict that you won't be able to vote on the matter at all, and the appearance of impropriety, you'll get to choose if you want to recuse yourself in the matter or if you think you can still be involved. With the next slide, the ordinance are the changes that Englewood made. So it just amended some little things in the published Bob's books. That is the other printout that you have there. It was adopted just to make some small changes to make it work better for Englewood. And the next slides go through these specific changes. So the first one has to do with recusal and leaving the room. So like we just discussed with the conflicts of interest, if you're recused on a matter, you don't get to vote on it. You have to disclose a conflict of interest on any matters. But because of Colorado open meetings laws, we can't make you leave the room. So even if you're not voting, if you're recused on the matter, you can stay in the room, you just can't vote. The next slide has the next change. With closing debate, originally in Bob's rules, if you make a motion to bring something forward, you get to talk on it first. This Englewood change just says you get the first and the last opportunity. So you get to open and close the debate on your motion. The next slide, summary of debate. With the debate going on in a motion, after you finish it and vote on the motion, you can request a summary of the debate to be added to the minutes, just for quicker review to see what was talked about and what was discussed. This doesn't originally exist in Bob's rules, so this change just lets you guys get these summaries added. And with the next slide, this one also doesn't exist in the original Bob's rules. It just adds another type of point for you guys to use. So the point of decorum you can use if you think anyone in the room is violating the rules of decorum. This is different than the other points. A point of order you would use, for example, if somebody didn't introduce a motion correctly or violated these rules of order, whereas a point of decorum would be used if someone was like yelling or insulting people or violating these other sets of rules. So just different situations you would use them in. But functionally, it works pretty much the same as the other points. And with the next slide, this is the last change in this Englewood ordinance with the motion for executive session. So originally under Bob's rules, you can't debate a motion for executive session. motion for executive session is used if there is an issue that you guys want to discuss outside of the public meeting. So if you guys want confidential legal advice from the city attorney or something else that you don't want to discuss in the public meeting, you can move to discuss it in an executive session that would be close to the public. With this Englewood change, you can debate this motion, but only about whether the topic at hand is appropriate for it. So if you don't believe it would be proper to discuss outside of the public meeting, you can debate it, and then you guys can vote on it as a body. And that is pretty much it. Any questions you guys have for me? We can also send additional copies or any other resources you guys would need.
This is the first time I've gotten one of these books. Does anybody else have?
I don't have one anymore.
Can we get extra copies for the
Totally.
commission?
Yeah, we'll get those around to you guys.
And we'll have access to the digital slides as well, right?
Yeah, we sent it here, but we can also send it around to you guys individually.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for letting me talk your guys' ears out.
Cool. All right, get back to the agenda. Okay, on to the wayfinding and placemaking update.
Can you bring up, do you mind bringing up that photo?
Yes, yeah, I have it.
So very quick update on wayfinding and placemaking. So we just installed this community sign like 2 days ago, and it's right out here in front of Nick's that you can kind of tell by the buildings in the background. Really highly visible spot. Get about 2,300 cars per day through that corridor, so a really good spot to advertise special events. We have 5 of these signs on order. 3 of them will go on school property once that IGA is approved by both city council and the school district, where I don't see any circumstance where that would not be approved, so.
And you put one in on Hampton too, right? The Hampton exit?
So there's one at the Broadway and Hampton exits. Yep, there's 2 there. I think that brings us to about 10 of these around town. So we've had a couple of issues with vandalism. Somebody in the Cushing Park in Cushing Park stole the Englewood off the top. So we'll need to replace that. We're going to look at some ways to make them a little more theft-proof in the future. So that's the wayfinding and placemaking update.
On to the media and art update with Debbie.
Yay, back to media and art.
Welcome back, Debbie.
So I know Andrea provided somewhat of an update last month, and there were some questions. CDOT did respond to the application for Lower Hampton, which is this one up on the screen on the right side. And that was the last piece that had been approved by the commission. They are asking for additional information. I met with the traffic engineer, Adam Maxwell, and in our discussion on what CDOT was requesting, it was his recommendation. He just said he used the term, they keep moving the goalposts. They just keep asking for more and more and more. And he said, what they are requesting, he said, I just don't even know how we apply that to, the application. They're wanting stopping distance and stuff like that, where the artwork really does not impact that stopping distance. So they have gone to a new application process. They're asking for additional stamp of approvals for pieces of art, wanting additional calculations in that. Rainbow Point, that piece, that was the one that was approved in the first process. We did do an additional stamp of approval. Traffic had referred us to a firm that they have used, and they did do a stamp of approval that we feel that CDOT would approve, but that was prior to getting the second email from CDOT saying they have a new process and an additional stamp of approval. So stamp of approvals at the minimum are $1,500 each. We do have one that, I know that I'm kind of like, I hope I'm not confusing you guys on this, Rainbow Point. We do have that charge coming through. For the other two, minimum will be $3,000. We do still have the traffic plan that we will have to pay for. Minimum, that's $1,500. So we're looking at minimum, probably $6,000.
Excellent.
So that's where we were, and that's not a guarantee CDOT will approve the pieces of art. They do have concern over the one piece with the reflective, the material. The artist feels that it is not, or it would not cause an issue, but it is CDOT's decision, not ours or the artist's. So, so that's where we're at. We do have some locations. You know, I met with Christina. Christina has been communicating with Sean and Tim, our city manager and deputy city manager, the situation going on with CDOT. So they are aware that just how this has really been drawn out and still not a guarantee with CDOT. So we don't want to say it's our recommendation. It is the board's recommendation on how you guys want to proceed. We will keep working on it if you would like us to. It's not a guarantee. And it will take additional money to move forward.
I know that this all kind of started from Sean's, like, that it was wanted to have this stuff in the median, but I mean, I feel like after 3 years and now the goalpost moves and there's more money.
You know, and I talked to Sean 1.2 and Sean said, he goes, I understand the CDOT's making it difficult.
Yeah. We had talked about some other places like on Broadway, South Broadway.
I think to Sean's point, like he wanted to beautify some of those entry points, and maybe South Broadway would be another
There's one
opportunity.
in South Broadway recently, I think, installed.
Well, it's the Englewood sign,
Yeah.
but if you were to think how the grass enters Englewood on the north side, like maybe one of these sculptures could enter Englewood on the south side on Broadway. I thought that could be a really cool piece, similar to like the grass is so bold and I think most people recognize it, but South Broadway doesn't have a similar piece of art. So maybe this could go there, or the other places that Parks and Rec recommends, you know.
I can't remember if I brought this up last month, but we're also doing a complete streets project on South Broadway. We're doing like a cool, colorful sidewalk at the bus stop and like gonna do a big unveiling.
Yeah.
So it might make sense to have, or be part of that kind of like launch. If
I
you wanted to do it.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is like it would really beautify that side of the city, and there's a lot happening down there, and so maybe it makes sense on an area that also needs it and still kind of gets at the idea of median artwork.
There's a great big open median just south of Hampton. But I don't know if that gets you far enough out of, if that's still considered CDOT's row or not, but every time I drive past it, I'm like, that's a perfect place for a piece of art.
Which one are you thinking of? Are you thinking of the one, do you know what the cross streets are on it?
It's right at Hampton on Broadway, and it's it's on Broadway as you're headed southbound, just as you cross Hampton.
But it's still Hampton.
No, this is on Broadway.
Oh, on Broadway, yeah. I mean, but potentially too, we could do one in the middle, one at the south end, more towards Bellevue.
Just, I mean, do you understand that if there is not like not a pedestal, but you're going to need to install some type of platform
Yeah.
for it to be secured to.
Right.
Yes,
So you are going to have that cost there.
we will have that cost. How much were the pedestals? Do we know when they got installed on Hampton?
I don't. They were installed at the time that they landscaped.
Yeah.
And they redid the medians. So that was part of that project.
Are they concrete?
They are
So
concrete.
like
They are,
$1,600.
yeah,
I'm
like
guessing.
6 or 8 inches thick
Yeah, I'm guessing.
and 4x4.
We wouldn't have to go through, because it's on Broadway and it's City of Englewood, we don't have to go through any stamp or approval process with CDOT. So we can basically, if we did the pads, we could install the art.
Correct.
Or wait until we know for sure that the plan.
And I think we're actually planning to paint the medians on South Broadway, and so they're already going to be doing median kind of like beautifying work.
I am sort of inclined to abandon the median art thing. I just feel like after 3 years, and the goalposts have moved, and now it's $6,000 more, and for no guarantee that it's going to get forward. That's my opinion. Does anybody else have?
I mean, if our efforts are better served in other spaces where we can see some progress, I haven't been here long enough to be part of this journey, but.
It's been a long journey.
But if it seems like our focus should be directed somewhere else, because we would have a better chance of success. So.
And I do feel for the artists. I think they are very anxious to.
Yeah, and I would like to see them in Englewood, and we have other great places to put them. So.
I don't think we're limited on opportunities. So for me, I've been ready for about 6 months to abandon median art in Hampton because I just want to see the art in Englewood.
Yeah.
Especially Rainbow Point, because it's been so long.
Yeah. And I love that piece. It's so amazing. And
I think at this point, maybe we don't need to make a motion to do anything specifically, but we need to find some places.
Would you like me to work with, Public Works and kind of with their projects, that they're doing? And we know there's some empty pedestals out in the amphitheater area where MOA has removed some of the art.
Yeah.
We can just
Make a
come
list of
up
locations.
with, all of the possible locations that you guys could look at.
And then we can use a motion to move it to where we
I think it's great to get recommendations. I would encourage not just, I think I would love to have some ideas beyond just the MOA pedestals, just because there's different parts of our city that needs art. But I would love to hear whatever the city recommends.
We will just make a list and photos and all that of all possible locations.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and so we can stop trying to move forward with the meeting. So.
And maybe we could then do like a voting process similar to what we've done where we do a hierarchy of places, like where people vote, those hierarchies or something to that extent.
And
maybe
an
see where
opportunity
they're
thinking about highlighting the artists, as you said, right? We don't want these pieces to go unseen. There's a little bit of the work you guys are doing on the website as well. Maybe that's a way to make sure that the artist is recognized, at least the artwork is some way, wherever we decide to place it, there's a way for the community to find it. So it's not lost, and we still amplify the artist as well.
Yeah, I love that that's on our landing page, that you can literally click on our art and find it in Englewood. It's so cool.
Great.
Where is this right now, do you know?
The artist has this one. We just got the stamp of approval, like that additional one we had to do. We just got that back like 3 weeks ago. So that's where this one got held up.
But even with that stamp of approval, it's not guaranteed that it can go in.
Correct.
So we got some good medians.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
there, so sorry,
That's
I just had another thought. I'm sure it's very expensive to move, but is there any world where it could maybe live for a time out here, and then once we're finally ready to put it somewhere else in the city, like take it there?
So both pieces of artwork, both artists have said that they, like 2 people can move the piece. So the only thing would just be, like securing it, depending on where we secure it and if there's a cost to that, but probably we could find someplace that'd be minimal.
Okay.
That would be interesting.
Great. Can we explore that at the May meeting?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, you guys.
Good work. It's been a while.
Oh, this has like woken me up in the middle of the night.
Oh, no. You have to get it put somewhere.
Or get a tattoo of it.
Yeah. Okay. Englewood Herald Murals article.
Oh, just very quickly, in case you missed it, the Englewood Herald
I read.
did interview us for an article for the business mural application program. So if you haven't seen it, it's on their website. I don't believe that the link in the agenda works. I don't know if we can fix that, but when I tried it earlier, it didn't. But if you haven't read it, it's a great article. We appreciate their support.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
Previously. I will send out a new link
Yeah,
with
it's
that.
on their landing page, so
Mhm.
front and center, so you can miss it.
Great. Thanks for talking about that. Great, on to Commissioner's Choice. Anybody have anything? All right, we can adjourn at 6:51 p.m. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Again.